You'll often notice with a narcissistic individual, it's very challenging to get a straightforward answer out of them. Sometimes they're fearing that exposure, other times they just enjoy knowing something that you don't know, other times they're just enjoying winding you up because they're in that frame of mind. Narcissists often answer questions with a question for various psychological reasons and strategies. There are lots of different ways that they will avoid answering a question. So they can use deflection. A narcissist is very apt at redirecting the conversation to avoid revealing key information or taking responsibility. You can just simply ask them something so simple as, "What time is it, please?" And they just turn around in an accusatory manner and say, "Why do you need to know?" "Well, because we're supposed to be going there at such and such a time." "What are we going there for?" "I told you yesterday, can't you remember?" "You never told me that." And they just instantly cause that argument over a very simple question. They knew they were going, they just didn't want to, so they're creating that argument and atmosphere so that they can get out of it. Or even better, they can put you in a mood so when you arrive, you look all flustered and they can be the life and soul of the party and tell everyone just how concerned they are about you. They use it to control you. They maintain control over the conversation by refusing to answer a simple question so that they can keep the upper hand. They might have something on at work and you can say, "Hey, have you managed to sort that yet?" And they just turn around, "Why do you care?" Because they want to make you feel bad. They want to make you feel like you need to work harder to please them. They use it for provocation. They provoke the other person to create confusion or frustration. So they can just, you can have arranged to go to a family friend's birthday party and you can let them know that, "Oh, it's tonight, are we still going?" And they just turn around and say, "Not with you in that mood." And you think, not even in a mood, I've just asked you a question. And this mood can be from the first question of what time it was. And you can have learnt to sort of not react and drop it, but they're still going to try and twist it in some way. They avoid answering a question for manipulation, to manipulate the dialogue, to keep others on the defensive. So you ask them, "Hey, where did you go last night?" "Why are you asking?" "Why do you want to know?" "Well, I'm just interested." "Interested in what? Are you stalking me?" They use avoiding answering questions for avoidance. They avoid answering to prevent exposure or vulnerability. Just simply ask them, "What are your thoughts on something?" And they will twist it and, "Why do you want to know my thoughts?" That's not important to you. They gaslight. They make the other person question their own intentions and their own sanity. So they can just turn around and say, "I never said that. You must be imagining things." "Why would you think that I said that?" So when you turn around and say to them, "Hey, remember when you said," and they just turn around and say, "I never said that. Why would you think that I would say that?" They use it as a projection. They project their own insecurities and issues onto the other person. So they fall silent on you. You say, "Hey, are you upset with me?" And they turn around and ignore you. Or they might have that brief conversation. "Oh, why are you always so sensitive?" And then they completely ignore you. Narcissists often refuse to answer a simple question or answer a question with a question because they fear exposure. They have very fragile self-esteem and fear being exposed as inadequate or flawed. They desire that control. Answering a question gives some control to the questioner, which a narcissist resists. They want to avoid accountability. By not answering a question, they avoid being held accountable for their actions or their statements. They want to maintain that sense of superiority. By not answering a question, keeps them in a perceived position of power and superiority. They want to create that confusion, keeping things as vague as possible to seem like they're mysterious. They want to be defensive. They often view your questions as threats or criticism. So they want to put you on the defensive because you've triggered their defensive response. Not answering a simple question or answering a question with a question is a manipulative strategy that the narcissist uses to control conversations, to control the situations, to manipulate others to their advantage.